Although she lived the life many people dreamed of, Diana Frances Spencer, the globally renowned daughter-in-law of the British royal family, philanthropist, the most photographed woman in the world, and the Princess of Hearts, was deeply unhappy in her personal life. Diana, the third child of Francis Roche and Earl John Spencer, was born on July 1, 1961, in England. Her father, who had longed for a son, grew estranged from his wife after their son died shortly after birth. Even the birth of Diana's younger brother Charles could not save their failing marriage. The separation of her parents left a psychological impact on young Diana, who craved affection and care. She began to see herself as incapable and inadequate. After finishing school, she worked as a nursery school assistant. When 32-year-old Prince Charles began seeking a bride, aristocratic Diana caught his attention. Although Charles had previously dated Diana's older sister Sarah, her unsuitable personality led to their breakup. In February 1981, Charles and Diana got engaged, and their lavish royal wedding took place in July of that year. Despite having married her Prince Charming, life at the royal palace was far from a fairy tale. Charles never ended his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, whom he had loved since the 1970s, even though she was married. Diana's efforts to protect her family were often misinterpreted by the royal household. At Charles's 37th birthday celebration at the opera, 24-year-old Diana surprised him by performing a dance on stage, an act that shocked the conservative royal family. Despite being the mother of two princes, Diana suffered from bulimia and depression, and her marital relationship deteriorated day by day. Queen Elizabeth II disliked the fact that Diana was more loved than other members of the royal family and constantly under the media spotlight. In 1985, Diana began a relationship with her bodyguard, Barry Manicky. When this was discovered a year later, Manicky was transferred, and a few months later, he died in a mysterious car accident. Diana remained convinced that his death was no coincidence. Her second known relationship was with cavalry officer James Hewitt. Rumors began to spread that he was the father of her younger son due to their similar red hair. By the late 1980s, as the AIDS crisis grew, Diana became involved in charity work and was the first royal to shake hands with HIV patients, which was considered one of the most powerful gestures by a British monarch in 200 years. She also supported mine clearance operations and provided both financial and emotional assistance to cancer patients. In 1992, a book revealing royal secrets and truths about Diana was published. Although they remained married on paper, Diana and Charles had effectively separated. In 1994, Charles admitted in a BBC interview that he had not been faithful after their relationship became irretrievably broken down. A year later, Diana also gave an interview and famously said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." In 1996, the couple officially divorced, though custody of Prince William and Prince Harry remained with Diana. Post-divorce, Diana's life took a new turn. She befriended artists, fashion icons, and began wearing short dresses that she once wasn't allowed to wear as a royal. She started secretly dating Pakistani heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, even visiting Pakistan, meeting his family, and considering converting to Islam. In 1997, Diana accepted an invitation from the Red Cross and visited a minefield, also meeting victims who had been injured in explosions. Thanks to her campaign, 122 countries signed the Ottawa Treaty in December of the same year, banning landmines. Rumors spread that Diana and Hasnat Khan were engaged, though Khan, who disliked media attention, ended the relationship. In the summer of 1997, businessman Mohammed Al-Fayed invited Diana to his villa in France, where she began a romantic relationship with his son, Dodi Al-Fayed. Their photos together went viral, and speculation arose that Diana might be pregnant. On August 31, 1997, after leaving the Ritz Hotel's rear exit, Diana, Dodi, and 2 bodyguards got into a car. Minutes later, they crashed in a tunnel. Dodi and the driver died at the scene, and Diana was rushed to the hospital but could not be saved. Multiple conspiracy theories emerged. Paparazzi chasing the car, a blinding laser pointed at the driver, a bullet to the tire, or a collision caused by another vehicle. The final investigation, concluded after 2 years, determined that the driver, Henri Paul, had alcohol in his blood, and his intoxication caused the crash. The British public was overwhelmed with grief at the news of Diana's death. Memorial services were held across the country. The day after her death became known as Silent Sunday among the people. The royal family was heavily criticized for remaining silent and planning a quiet funeral. Eventually, Queen Elizabeth made a televised speech expressing her sadness. Prince Harry placed flowers and a heartfelt letter on his mother's coffin, addressed to Mummy, moving the entire nation. Diana's funeral was watched by 2.5 billion people worldwide. Although Diana died at the age of 36, she remains one of the most beloved, compassionate, and iconic women of the 20th century, forever remembered as the Princess of Hearts. One of the oldest known telescopes belonged to which scientist? Galileo Galilei, Kepler, Newton, Tycho Brahe. Galileo built his own telescope in 1609 and was one of the first to observe the moon's surface. His discoveries revolutionized astronomy. He identified Jupiter's moons and sunspots. Galileo remains a symbolic figure in science. Which ancient warrior wore a lion skin as a helmet? Ashurbanipal, Heracles, Spartacus, Romulus. In Greek mythology, Heracles killed the Nemean lion and made a helmet and cloak from its skin. The lion couldn't be killed by conventional weapons. This act made Heracles a symbol of strength and bravery. The lion skin helmet became his trademark. According to historical sources, what were Scythian warriors buried with? Gold and weapons, animal sacrifice, their family members, bow and arrows. When Scythian warriors died, they were sometimes buried with their wives and servants. This practice was tied to their belief in an afterlife. They believed these companions would continue serving them beyond death. Archaeological findings confirm this ritual. Why is the term dark side of the moon used? No sunlight reaches it, no life exists there. Moon always shows one face to Earth. It is completely dark. The moon rotates on its axis and orbits Earth at the same speed, so we always see the same side. The far side is called the dark side because it's hidden from Earth. However, it does receive sunlight. It's just not visible to us. In ancient Egypt, what was the purpose of placing a heart scarab in a sarcophagus? To preserve the body, to summon the soul, to hide sins in judgment, for healing. In Egyptian mythology, the heart was weighed in judgment after death. If heavier than the feather of truth, it signified guilt. The heart scarab was inscribed with spells urging the heart to remain silent. This was believed to ensure the deceased's acquittal. What was the name of the first artificial satellite launched by the USSR in 1957? Soyuz 1, Sputnik 1, Luna 2, Vostok. Sputnik 1 was the first artificial satellite launched into space by the USSR in 1957. This event initiated the space race. The satellite orbited Earth while sending radio signals. It marked the dawn of a new era in technology.